I'm currently employed at Johnson Controls and work in the IT department. And as part of the continuing education that the company provides, they provide some university assistance as long as it's related to your existing career. So I looked into some various programs around the area and settled on Concordia for their Master's in IT program, which is pretty well geared toward the working individual. Traditionally, my family has a big background in education. My father's a former university professor of 30 plus years, as are both my grandparents. So continuing education and master's program and even doctorate programs are pretty normal for my family. So kind of expected and figured I would do it eventually. So if, like I said, I had a good opportunity and decided I would, take that time to do it. So honestly, that's why it really just helps further the career, further the education, learn, obviously a little more detail within the IT, information technology functions, and move forward in that way. Sure. Concordia was, again, on my list of different universities. One for their location, not far from my workplace. Thought I'd be able to commute back and forth quite easily. Two, and maybe even one, their IT program is somewhat unique for the area. There isn't another university around that has an actual information technology program. Many universities have a master's in business administration with computer emphasis of some kind, like an MIS program, something like that, but there's nothing specifically information technology. There is a difference between computer science, between information systems and information technology. And so for most workforces, IT, again, is what I do for my career, and it was a good opportunity to further that. I wasn't looking for a MBA program as much as I was a IT program. Well, because of the time commitment required from a face-to-face program, I recently have adopted a child. It's the first child in our family. So between having a wife and a child and a full-time work position, committing another several hours per week in the evenings or whenever time permitted was a difficult task. So the online program allowed me to fit in my work when and where I could, and allowed just to commit to a task and a project without having the specific block of time committed at that point. The online course is quite nice because typically your course is laid out in advance for you, so you can check out your course from beginning to end, and then allocate activities that you need to do, whether it be book reading, whether it be research and paper writing, versus attending lectures, listening to like a podcast lecture, those type of activities, and so you can really plan out your time accordingly based upon that. And then the trick to using online versus in person is really have to stay committed to the activities at hand, right? It's easy to put it off for the next day. Before you know it, you have a week left of class and you haven't done anything. So, and then it's impossible to catch up. So ideally, the trick is just to time manage yourself. But the beauty of it is you have it all laid out in front of you. Because of the online program, and it depended upon the course and the curriculum and style of the professor through that course. In some cases, I literally listened to podcasts and lectures in my car on the commute home back and forth. Other ways, I locked myself in my basement office for several hours in the evening to commit to the time of studying. But I often use my phone or my tablet or in my car as equal opportunity. Whenever I had a block of time, I could just pull it out and research and do what I needed to do. So within the program, the online program, they assign an advisor to you. And I have to say, certainly early on, especially, the advisor was very valuable in providing me with tips, giving me some motivation. I believe he had gone through the program, or at least a similar piece of the program, not too long beforehand, so he had firsthand experience, and his courses really reflected some of that background and experience within the online program. So yeah, he was very valuable in that regard. Well, attending Concordia has bettered my life by the curriculum that they provided. It included not only practical business activities that were part of the program, but also integrated in Christian principles and foundational type activities within the program. You wouldn't think that that's possible within information technology, but it certainly is. And ethics was a big part of that, and is a big part of working with information and using the technology to enable it. I thought there was a very strong Christian focus. Again, some courses more than the others. You can see it in your professors in their lectures often with just the way they handle themselves and conduct a lecture versus a lot of the curriculums had Christian themes or even paper writing wrapped around that. Again, vocation and ethics comes to mind with all those different things within the Christian walk that are part of everyday life, right? So that's part of the process. I think the biggest challenge to go into school online is really the self-motivation, drive to accomplish the task in front of you. Some people may say that being disconnected from face-to-face interaction is a challenge, but in some respects that could be an advantage as well. So there's certainly both sides of the coin in that equation, but they're both both of those things are probably the key challenges that I would have. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the program. I thought I would be able to do a mix of online and in person. I call it brick and mortar versus the virtual world, but I ended up doing it all online. Didn't take one in-person class, though I could have. But that flexibility is nice. So I would suggest maybe one thing that people look into is that flexibility.